So on this video I'm going to show you how to solve problem 5 on Handout 3B for the first part of algebra. So we have this large equation that has a lot of parentheses and brackets and braces. So we're going to take the approach of getting rid of the innermost parentheses first, and then we're going to start from the inside towards the outside. So so the innermost parentheses, they're always or most of the time represented by the parentheses that we know. So those are the first one that we have to get rid of. And then we have to get rid of the brackets, which are also parentheses or also function as a parenthesis. And then at the end we're going to get rid of the braces, which are also parentheses, but those are the outermost parentheses. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the innermost parentheses. So those are the innermost parentheses. And we get rid of those by distributive property with whatever I have in front of those parentheses. On this I have a positive 5. And over here I have a negative 2. So we're going to multiply those numbers times every single term inside the parentheses in order to get rid of those innermost parentheses. So I start with a negative and then the brace in there. And the first multiplication, that's 5 times d. And then 5 times 2, or positive 5 times positive 2, that's positive 10. And the first parenthesis is gone. So everything else is going to remain the same. And I'm going to get rid of the next parenthesis, which is negative 2 times 3d. That's negative 6d. And then negative 2 times 8, that's going to be negative 16. Distributive property. Everything else remains the same in there. Okay, so you get rid of one parenthesis, and the next thing that I recommend you to do is combine like terms. Okay, combine like terms inside the parentheses that you have. So in this case, the only parenthesis that I can combine like terms is going to be inside this these brackets over here. I have 3d, I have a 3d, and I have also negative 60. So I can combine those two into one only term, and this is what I'm going to do right now. Oops. 5d plus 10 minus 6, and 3 minus 6, that's going to be negative 3, and everything else is going to remain the same. It is very important that you combine like terms in between steps, because it's going to make the things or make the equation easier to solve. Okay, now that I combine like terms, I'm going to get rid of the next innermost parentheses that I have, which are the brackets. And what do I have in front of that bracket? A negative 6. So this is what I'm going to use to do the distributive property and get rid of that innermost parenthesis. So 5d plus 10, and I'm going to do the multiplication. Negative 6 times negative 3, that's going to be positive 18d, and negative 6 times negative 16, right? So that's going to be positive 96. 6 times 6, that's 36. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3, that's 9. Okay, I also have a negative 7 in here, equals negative 18t plus 101. Okay, get rid of the innermost parentheses and then combine like terms inside the parentheses that you have in here. Okay, so let's see if we can combine something inside in there, and we can combine it, right? So we have 5d plus 18d. That should be 23d. We can also combine the numbers, right? 10 plus 96 minus 7. So that should give us a 10 plus 96, that's going to be 106 minus 7. If I combine those two, that's going to be 99. If I combine all the numbers, equals negative 18d plus 101. Now I can get rid of the innermost parentheses. In this case, it's just the braces, and what I have in front of it is a negative sign. So that means that I'm going to change the sign of everything that I have in there. Okay, so that's the distributive property, negative, or you can think about this as a negative 1, right? So negative 1 times 23, that's negative 23d. And negative 1 times 99, that's negative 99. equals negative 18d plus 101. Okay. Next step, since we already simplified the equation, now we have to follow up the steps in solving an equation, right? The first one was fractions. We get rid of fractions. We get rid of the parentheses, which is all of the step that we just did. And then we have to add and subtract to both sides. So send all the letters to one side, send all the numbers to the other side. So right now I'm going to choose to send all the letters to the left side. So in order to send those 18d to the left side, I have to do the opposite operation. So that's a plus, and I also have to do a plus to the left side of the equation. That's the first thing that I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and combine. So I have negative 23 plus 18. That should be negative 5d. Okay. And then I'm going to send all the numbers to the right side. So add 99 to both sides. Negative 5d equals 200. Right? And then the last step, or the last thing that I'm going to do, right? Step 4, multiplications and divisions. So I'm going to get rid of this multiplying negative 5, dividing by negative 5. And if I do that to the left side, I have to do that to the right side as well. D equals what's going to be this number, negative 40. And this should be the result to solving this equation. If you have any other questions, make sure to let me know and subscribe to this channel.